In a world obsessed with superficial appearances and fleeting impressions, we've lost sight of what truly makes a person magnetic. The ancient Stoic philosophers understood something profound that modern society has forgotten: genuine attractiveness has remarkably little to do with physical appearance and everything to do with the strength of character, the depth of wisdom, and the quality of presence you bring to every interaction. True attractiveness isn't found in a mirror or purchased at a store. It's cultivated through deliberate practice, mindful reflection, and the unwavering commitment to developing the inner qualities that naturally draw people toward you. When you understand this fundamental truth, you realize that the most compelling individuals throughout history weren't necessarily the most conventionally beautiful, but rather those who possessed an irresistible combination of inner strength, emotional intelligence, and authentic presence. The Stoic tradition offers us a roadmap to this kind of magnetic attractiveness through 6 transformative habits that have stood the test of time. These practices don't require you to change who you are fundamentally. Instead, they help you become the most compelling version of yourself by developing the qualities that create genuine connection and lasting influence. The first, and perhaps most powerful of these habits, is mastering the art of truly listening to others. In our hyper-connected yet paradoxically disconnected world, genuine listening has become extraordinarily rare, making it all the more powerful when encountered. Most people spend conversations waiting for their turn to speak, formulating responses, or allowing their minds to wander to other concerns. This surface-level engagement leaves both parties feeling unseen and unheard, creating missed opportunities for meaningful connection. When you practice true listening, you create a completely different dynamic. You offer someone the precious gift of your undivided attention, free from judgment, interruption, or the compulsive need to immediately respond with your own thoughts or experiences. This kind of presence is magnetic because it makes people feel genuinely valued and understood. In a world where everyone is competing for attention, the person who gives it freely and completely stands out as remarkably attractive. Active listening involves more than simply staying quiet while someone else speaks. It requires maintaining genuine eye contact that conveys interest rather than intensity, reading body language and emotional undertones, and creating space for the other person to express themselves fully. When you resist the urge to interject with your own stories or solutions, unless specifically asked, you demonstrate a level of emotional maturity and confidence that people find deeply appealing. The practice of listening deeply also transforms you as a person. You gain insights into human nature, develop greater empathy, and often discover perspectives that challenge and enrich your own worldview. People remember how you made them feel during conversations, and when they associate you with feeling heard and valued, they naturally gravitate toward your presence. Cultivating inner peace represents the second fundamental habit that creates magnetic attractiveness. Chaos and emotional volatility repel people, while calm assurance draws them in like a beacon in a storm. The Stoics understood that emotional regulation isn't about suppressing feelings, but rather about maintaining your center regardless of external circumstances. Imagine encountering 2 people during a crisis, one who is frantically reactive, spreading anxiety and confusion, and another who remains composed, thoughtful, and solution-oriented. Which person would you naturally want to be around? The calm individual becomes a source of stability that others seek out, especially during challenging times. This inner peace isn't achieved overnight or through wishful thinking. It requires consistent practice in observing your emotional responses, without being controlled by them. Daily reflection, whether through journaling, meditation, or mindful breathing exercises, helps you develop the ability to pause between stimulus and response. This pause is where your power lies, the space where you choose how to react rather than being at the mercy of immediate emotional impulses. When you cultivate this calmness, you project confidence and reliability. People feel safe around you because they know you won't add drama or unnecessary complications to situations. Your steady presence becomes something others can depend on, making you naturally attractive as both a friend and a potential partner. Third transformative habit involves speaking with purpose and intention. In an era of constant chatter, social media noise, and opinion overload, thoughtful communication has become increasingly rare and valuable. The Stoics believed that unnecessary talk leads to unnecessary problems, and they advocated for speaking less, but with greater impact. When you develop the habit of pausing before you speak, you create space to ensure your words add genuine value to conversations. This doesn't mean becoming silent or withdrawn, but rather becoming more intentional about when and how you contribute to discussions. Quality becomes more important than quantity in your communication. Purposeful speaking involves several elements: clarity in expressing your thoughts, wisdom gained through experience and reflection, and genuine consideration for how your words might affect others. When people know that your contributions to conversations are thoughtful and meaningful, they pay closer attention to what you have to say. Your words carry weight because they've learned to trust your judgment and insight. This habit also involves learning when not to speak. Sometimes the most powerful communication happens through comfortable silence, knowing glances, or simply being present without feeling compelled to fill every moment with words. The confidence to be comfortable in silence, to let others speak, without rushing to add your own thoughts, demonstrates a level of self-assurance that many find extremely attractive. The fourth habit centers on embracing resilience when facing adversity. Life inevitably presents challenges, setbacks, and difficulties to everyone, but how you respond to these obstacles reveals your true character. Resilience isn't about pretending problems don't affect you or maintaining toxic positivity in the face of genuine hardship. Instead, it's about facing difficulties with grace, learning from setbacks, and maintaining hope and determination even when circumstances are challenging. People are naturally drawn to those who demonstrate strength during tough times because it suggests reliability and emotional stability. When others see you handle adversity with dignity and composure, they develop confidence in your ability to be a steady presence in their own lives. This kind of reliability is deeply attractive because it promises security and support. Resilience also involves reframing obstacles as opportunities for growth and learning. The Stoics taught that external events are neutral. It's our interpretation and response that determines their impact on our lives. When you consistently demonstrate the ability to find meaning, lessons, or opportunities within challenges, you inspire others and show them a different way of approaching their own difficulties. This doesn't mean being unrealistically optimistic or minimizing genuine problems. Rather, it means maintaining perspective, focusing on what you can control, and taking constructive action even when facing uncertainty or setbacks. The person who can navigate storms while helping others feel more secure becomes a natural leader and an attractive presence in any group. The fifth transformative habit requires prioritizing integrity over approval. In a social media-driven culture that often rewards performance and popularity over authenticity, choosing to live according to your principles regardless of external validation is both rare and magnetic. Integrity means aligning your actions with your values, even when it's inconvenient, unpopular, or costly. When you consistently demonstrate integrity, people learn they can trust you completely. They know you'll tell them the truth, even when it's difficult. Keep confidences when asked, and act according to your stated principles, rather than whatever seems most advantageous in the moment. This reliability creates a sense of safety and respect that forms the foundation of all meaningful relationships. Integrity also involves the courage to be authentically yourself, rather than adapting your personality to seek approval from different groups. While social flexibility is valuable, maintaining your core values and authentic self across different contexts shows strength of character. People are drawn to those who seem comfortable in their own skin and don't require constant validation from others. Living with integrity sometimes means making unpopular decisions or standing alone in your convictions. However, this independence and moral courage often attract others who admire these qualities but may lack the confidence to demonstrate them themselves. Your willingness to prioritize doing what's right over being liked creates respect and admiration. that runs much deeper than superficial approval. The sixth and final habit focuses on embracing growth over the impossible pursuit of perfection. Perfectionism is not only unattainable, but also unattractive because it creates pressure, anxiety, and often leads to paralysis or harsh self-criticism. In contrast, a genuine commitment to continuous learning and improvement is inspiring and magnetic. When you approach life with curiosity rather than the need to have all the answers, you become more relatable and approachable. People feel comfortable around those who admit mistakes, learn from failures, and show vulnerability in their growth process. This openness creates opportunities for deeper connections because others don't feel they need to maintain impossible standards in your presence. Growth-oriented individuals are naturally attractive because they're interesting and dynamic. They're always discovering new things about themselves and the world, which makes conversations engaging and relationships evolving. Rather than stagnating in comfort zones, they embrace challenges as opportunities to develop new capabilities and insights. This mindset also extends compassion to others who are on their own growth journeys. Instead of judging people for their mistakes or limitations, you can appreciate their efforts to improve and support their development. This supportive attitude creates an environment where others feel safe to be vulnerable and authentic, deepening the quality of your relationships. These 6 Stoic habits work synergistically to create a foundation of genuine attractiveness that goes far beyond physical appearance or superficial charm. When you consistently practice deep listening, cultivate inner peace, speak with purpose, embrace resilience, prioritize integrity, and focus on growth, you develop a magnetic presence that draws people naturally toward you. The beauty of these practices is that they benefit you regardless of how others respond. Even if increased attractiveness isn't your primary goal, developing these habits will enhance your self-respect, inner peace, and overall life satisfaction. You'll find yourself more capable of handling stress, building meaningful relationships, and creating positive impact in the world around you. Moreover, the attractiveness that comes from these habits is sustainable and authentic. Unlike strategies that rely on manipulation, performance, or external validation, these practices help you become genuinely more attractive by developing the qualities that create lasting appeal. People drawn to you because of these characteristics are more likely to value you for who you truly are rather than for superficial reasons. The journey of developing these habits requires patience, consistency, and self-compassion. Change doesn't happen overnight, and you'll undoubtedly have moments where you fall back into old patterns of reactive behavior, careless speech, or approval seeking. These setbacks are part of the growth process and provide opportunities to practice self-forgiveness and renewed commitment to your development. Start by choosing one habit that resonates most strongly with you and committing to small, consistent practices that support its development. Perhaps you begin each conversation with the intention to listen more deeply, or you establish a daily reflection practice to cultivate inner peace. Small, sustainable changes compound over time to create significant transformation. Remember that true attractiveness isn't about becoming someone different, but rather about fully developing the best aspects of who you already are. These Stoic principles help you strip away the superficial layers that often mask your authentic self and develop the inner qualities that create genuine magnetism. The goal isn't to manipulate others into finding you attractive, but to become the kind of person who naturally inspires respect, trust, and connection. As you embark on this journey of developing these transformative habits, you'll likely discover that the process itself becomes its own reward. The peace that comes from emotional regulation, the satisfaction of meaningful conversations, the strength found in facing challenges with grace, and the freedom of living authentically create a rich and fulfilling life experience that attracts others who value these same qualities. In a world often focused on quick fixes and superficial solutions, choosing the path of character development and inner cultivation sets you apart. The attractiveness that emerges from this inner work is timeless, sustainable, and deeply fulfilling for both you and those fortunate enough to experience your transformed presence.